Hey everybody, I'm the Girl Goddess, and this morning I'm going to be talking about why a lot of young people don't take the advice from older people. And it's really the same reason I didn't. A lot of these older people are so mean, many of them are so unlearned that they literally don't have anything to give. They have life experiences, but a lot of these older people, they have addiction backgrounds. They have done all kind of stuff, from SA to DV, you know, all kind of stuff going on in the household. And to be honest, I'm trying to see about the light. To be honest, okay, this is better. But to be honest, a lot of them not equipped. A lot of them's not saved. They don't have no word. They can't teach you the right way. They give too many excuses for not working, and they give too many excuses for a lot of stuff. Like why you don't finish your education and being on the systems, mother's not working. And people don't understand when the system was set up, it was set up because it was a time, I believe in the 1950s, that women had a hard time getting a job in the workforce. Okay, it was male dominant, and they wasn't hiring a lot of females, and a lot of people was culturally caught between, prejudice. A lot of people of color or black or whatever nationality among colored people there was, including some people as the Irish, and there was a lot of Jewish and people, Hispanics, and Islanders. They wasn't given the opportunity to hold a lot of jobs, and if they did, they was paid so low they wasn't able to take care of their family and maintain a roof. Okay, it's been a process here in America, but after Americans, people of color, and other cultures that was held in bondage, you know, in America, could get a job, a lot of the females chose just not to go to work. They wanted to make babies and make excuses, which has put the country in bondage because a lot of people receiving SSI retirement has never had a job. There's a lot of females. And you have 10 or more generations from a lot of these folks who has never had a job. Now they put into place for people on the system, women to go to work. And a lot of women say, well, if I go to work, who's going to pay for my daycare? But they'll have a baby every year. They'll get pregnant. They'll wait so they can spend a lifetime on the system. They'll have a baby this year, 5 years later, 5 years from there, and then they'll wait another 5 to 7 years to have two babies back to back. So they don't have to never go to work. But they fail to realize once that child do a full day in school, they can go to work. They won't tell who the fathers is. They stay in chaos. It's just, okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. But a lot of them, and the problem was a lot of females, you know, outside of the conditions of prejudice and against women going into the work field, to people making it a tradition. They didn't finish school. They couldn't help their children do with their homework. So a lot of children were left behind. Okay? A lot of people talking about, well, things went bad when prayer came out to school. No, things went bad because prayer wasn't in the home. There was godless households. Okay? Now you have a bunch of children, generation after generation of folks who really, they go to church, some of them, but they don't serve God. They don't teach their children. They spend very little time with their children. When they get out of church, that's when the smoking and the drinking and go on. So these children had no examples before them. And then they say, let the older people teach you. Most of these older people are so mean, so disrespectful, unlearned. Most of them brains are fried. A lot of them have Alzheimer's, dementias, and I know, as you age, conditions happen. But what good does that do for the child? Okay? When you have a big mama in the family and she taking care of about 6 of her children's children and the friends' children, they just running rampant in the household. Anything goes. A lot of people talking about they miss Big Mama. No, that was just an excuse to put the children somewhere. Big Mama may have fed the children, allowed them to take a bath, but Big Mama wasn't capable most of the time to teach and train the children. Then you have a lot of men that left the household because a lot of women, they put their public assistance above the men being fathers. And a lot of them lied so much, and I have family that did it. They told so many men that this one child was all theirs. And when they all found out that the other father, and the other father, and it ended up with the child being fatherless. Okay, and when they start running DNA, everybody they accused anyway wasn't the father. Okay, and you have a situation where people purposely put things in position so they can lose and you can lose as a society. And then they put things in, okay, the lottery's supposed to be funding the schools. The schools are ran down. Nobody knows where the money went. The teachers are quitting because the children are so out of control. There's no discipline, even when you're doing things like foster caring. The reason a lot of these people quit foster caring is because the lack of discipline. When you have a 2-year-old cussing you out, or a teenager running away every day and violent in the household, the child is towards the parents. If they have children, the foster parents and adoptive parents, biological children are going through, it's just chaos in the household. Now, can you raise children without discipline, corporal punishment? Yeah, you can raise them. They'll exist in the household, but they won't have no respect for no authority. And, I'm going to go on my journey. I'm just going to respect the laws of the land. I teach, I talk, I counsel, I study. So, I'll go on a journey. But if you don't have no level of discipline that they're going to respond to, it's not going to do very good. I've seen it year after year after year, okay? I was going into the teaching field. No. Okay? I was in the youth ministry, did good. My youth really respected me. But I seen what was going on in other classes. And I was like, no way, because this was volunteer. When you're doing this stuff at the church, most of the time you're not paid. Volunteer work. And I do love children. If it's possible, I'd like to adopt about 10 to 12 children and put the work in. Because only way we're going to bring back society, we got to teach sound advice. Okay. I'm back. I was checking over the pork chops. I'm going to make sure dinner is good. And, when I talk about how society's taking hold, I know it was a lot of children that was being abused, because I was, like most children was, even if they don't admit it. And sometimes it seemed like the system go to 2 extremes. First, it was inhumane abuse. then it become no discipline at all. And then there's parent abuse, because you got children fighting their parents. And I'm talking about small children. There's 2-year-olds that cuss you out like they gave birth to you, even though I don't believe in the usage of family. I don't believe in the use of profanity or anything, but, I recognize we live in a fallen society, and it's going to take a whole lot, because when you have a fallen society, you have a lot of demons running wild and reigning in people. A lot of hurt people hurt people. People have given up. They have lost hope, because it's extremely hard to raise children with no level of discipline. You can tell them to go in the corner, but if they screaming at you, no, well, how you going to get them in the corner? How is the punishment going to be enforced? You don't have to, you have to use a little common sense. Take away a toy. But when you had children, you getting children or anything, and they never had a toy, that means nothing to them. Even me, when I was a child, you can take everything in there. It don't make me no difference. That's your money. Donate it. Okay? When someone wants to be mean, and I was a very sweet child, but when somebody wants to be mean and hateful, that's what they're going to be. And we endured the process to see in the last 10, 20 years, we have found out that so many people are so angry. The youth grow up, they have no level of respect. They don't believe. The reason a lot of them go to prison is because they don't believe there's consequences. They wasn't raised with consequences. They have no conscience. They wasn't raised with no God. So, you can do a lot of prayer, but we have to bring back the foundation of respect and the teaching of the children, so they can be a better quality. Because when you know better, you do better. But sometimes when you don't have a reason to do better, you don't. When you have programs rewarding you for being, bad, lazy, not holding you accountable. And it goes back to a lot of mothers, that they see their sons and daughters see them never go to work. When they get grown, they're not going to go to work. Because you imitate your environment. If they don't do nothing to them, then they figure they ain't going to do nothing to them. Okay, you can call the police in a lot of bad situations. They don't show up. So the criminal is not being dealt with no way. They have more laws to protect the criminal than the law-abiding citizen. There's so many traps in the judicial system. They lie. They just solve a case. They don't care. We have when I say a whole lot of people behind bars for things they haven't done. And when they come out and their families and stuff like that, they just don't have no respect for it. They have no faith in the system. So we living through perilous times. Yes, it was prophesied through the Bible. But a lot of people don't know they're their worst enemy. You have a lot of people who have the sense of entitlement, self-entitlement. Whether it comes about through racial, being racist, and if it's not racist, it's financial. You got the rich against the poor. They feel they have more rights. You have this nationality against this nationality. They feel they have more rights. And the real truth is, God gonna judge everybody just the same. Okay? There is no privilege in society for real, even though you see a lot of it being acted out. You have people that have certain neighborhoods feel that they're better than this neighborhood. You have the intelligent, learned, educated against the unlearned, okay, illiterate. It's etc. It's just a lot of stuff. It's a lot of stuff that keeps the world in bondage. You have a lot of people that is against the alphabet crew. And I can't really speak against that because, I believe the Bible is only two genders. Anything made up is just made up. I don't walk into delusions and stuff like that. I'm not the person who's brave enough to say God made a mistake. He didn't make a mistake. I don't believe when people, and I done seen it up close in the family, and they say, when I was born, I've always, like a man, I always felt like a woman. Well, what do a woman feel like? Okay, because I'm a female, born female. I never felt like I was born a female and felt a certain way. I just looked at my body parts and knew what I was. Okay? So I don't believe that. And just because somebody try to make something up, I say Dr. Frankenstein don't make it right. If it had to be artificially done, then it was wrong. Okay? People never taught people to respect their bodies, their identity. People want to be lost in the illusion of things. And we have a fallen society. I mean, I talked to a lot of elderly people, have went to them for advice. I mean, I went to a Jehovah's Witness and I was talking to her, but she knew less than mine. And I said, I had a class one time with people that was under 8 years old. I taught all the ages stuff. They knew way more than this adult. And she didn't live through life. She may have some life experiences. I know adults right now, they brag about the fact that they can't cook and only use microwavable food. And they had children. I don't know how the children nutritional value was maintained, but when I hear stuff like this, I tell people, then God say that the younger woman is supposed to go to the older woman. How in the world are you going to go to the older woman when there's no substance in them? Okay, they have a few experiences, but a few experiences is not, because when you talk to people and you talk from a place of being unskilled, never really doing, you never practice what you taught, what you're teaching, there's no anointing there. People don't pick it up, it won't be imparted on somebody. So we dealing with a lot of fakeism, unequipped people in the world. When you reward people from doing wrong versus rewarding people for doing what is right, what you do is put the country and people in bondage. And you look for one generation after the next to fall. Even though God is making a change, and I see the changes, there's a lot of things that have to be changed. You have a lot of financial institutions and laws protecting big corporations and stuff that's harming the people and have been ripping them off for years. You can go to a car lot and they'll sell you a raggedy car in a minute. And even though they say there are lemon laws, most of the time it's not enforced. So you have a lot of innocent people who have lost money, investing in things, thinking that they had the law on their side, and they didn't. You have a lot of people, you go buy stuff from different companies, and then when the product comes, it is of the poorest quality. And you have people that pay to leave their I'm gonna say opinion of the product. And a lot of those people are just people that they came to the company, just left a positive remark because they could. Some was going to be rewarded. I mean, I have been asked to leave remarks on evaluate a product that I never used, and they said they would pay me. Okay, and they sent me my little payment. So you have a lot of fake reviews. Okay, so how are you going to try to get society to come up when you constantly reward liars, fake stuff, banks, they'll give you this amount of money on credit cards, and then they charge you such a high rate. I mean, I was sending payments one time, it was like $150 a month, and found out that only $23 was being towards my other stuff and the rest was interest. Then they wonder why people don't want to pay. Well, I had it on auto pay. So a card for $2,000, I looked on it, it was like, I'm going to say about 14 months later, it should have been just about paid off. And when they showed me, like, when I say less than $300 went towards the $2,000, I just look at people, I just told them, close the account. I had told her, I said, just close the account. I said, because as far as I'm concerned, you got your money. You talking about all this interest and all this and all that, you worse than a loan shark. Then these banks are closing people's accounts, acting like they don't know where the money went, but you have computers that can track everything. Everything did on a computer is under an IP address. It can be tracked. Years later, it can be tracked. You can destroy one computer, and trust me, if it sent something to another computer, you can pull that address and you can still get all the information you need. So it's a lot of stuff being covered up, but you got to have money for that. It's like all this stuff that's going on in Hollywood. They've been knowing about this for years, but when you're dealing with the higher up, they really don't want to end it. They want to make a profit off of really destroying society. Witchcraft's supposed to be against the law, but they're not prosecuting nowadays, even if they have the evidence. You know, but God is going to make a change because his judgment is falling on people. I'm that girl goddess, and I'm just talking about a fallen society that once we was instructed to follow the people that was older, the younger people have no one to guide them because most of the older people can't and will not guide. But then most of the youth are so disrespectful, nobody wants to be bothered. I'm going to give it a try. Y'all have a great day. Like, share, and subscribe. Bye.